Hello gainers and gladiators, Ralphie here with a walk-in talk. Now I know how much you enjoy the walks and talks. In fact, you prefer them to my gym advice sessions by a factor of about 40%. So I am mindful of that, and of course one of the little responsibilities of a YouTube creator is to pay attention to the comments and to the visitors to the channel and see what they enjoy the most and provide a little bit more of that. So here we are on location. What a view, what a view. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. In the north of the Isle of Man, just under a mountain called North Barule. That's it there. I've run up and down that several times training for a Tough Mudder competition. It wasn't easy. But the subject of this walk-in talk on location is knowledge. Some basic advice on the subject of knowledge. There are two types of knowledge. There is acquired knowledge, in other words, the knowledge that we get from our education at school, the knowledge that we are fed, and I'm picking my words carefully here, fed by broadcasting companies and newspapers. And there is the general assumption that acquired knowledge has authority and that learned knowledge is more of an opinion and therefore is less important, and learned knowledge is what we discover ourselves over time through our journey. And it's a different kind of knowledge. Initially, acquired knowledge is what we need, particularly when we're young. We need to know the language we're learning. We need to understand the basic principles of arithmetic, mathematics, perhaps some physics or chemistry if we're going to specialise and be a more well, I was going to say useful member of society, but that's not actually true, because scientists are very useful to have, but if you don't have people to sweep the streets and clear up the rubbish, you're really struggling. These people who provide basic services are usually, well, they are essential. And again, acquired knowledge suggests that there's this pecking order, and that people, because of not so much the job they do, but because of what they're earning, somehow what they earn justifies and endorses the value of their contribution to society. And this is acquired knowledge, but learned knowledge is over time when you get more experience of life. This isn't true. There's plenty of people out there who are getting paid a lot of money and contributing very little to society. In fact, many of them contribute less than little. Excuse me, I've got a hair. Excuse me a second. That's better. Got a stray hair. I've had my hair cut recently, so a stray hair's flicking backwards and forwards here, and it's very distracting. And there's people that paid a lot of money who really they act as gatekeepers. They're not there to provide any useful job. They're there to maintain the status quo socially, whichever society you happen to be in. And they're very unproductive. In fact, they can be counterproductive. This is only something you discover over time through learned knowledge. Knowledge that we learn for ourselves after school, directly through the experience of life and what life teaches us. Now, very important to realise that it's entirely optional should we choose to take the responsibility for learning on our own terms. There are quite a few folk out there, you probably know them. They don't learn anything. They are quite happy to passively exist no matter what they're doing. They won't challenge themselves, they'll never question what's around them, the values, the opinions, the perspectives. They will not examine society more closely to observe not what they're told is happening, but what is really happening. And a very classic example of a difference between people who have acquired knowledge and those who have learned knowledge. and often discovered knowledge. And books are the best for that. Books and the internet. This is one reason why the internet's getting so discreetly censored now. But I'm sure you're aware of that. You're spotting the signs. But freedom, take freedom for example. What is freedom? If you ask a person who's only going in acquired knowledge, they'll get all dewy-eyed and they'll say, freedom is the, you don't have to work and you can do what you want and you can be totally selfish and you can buy stuff and you can just sit on a beach, and that's the view of freedom. That's the simple, disappointing view of freedom, because as soon as they have everything they want, they'll only want more. As soon as they're sitting on the beach, it'll get too hot. As soon as they never have to work for a living, they'll just get all stressed about something else. And they'll find other superficial things to distract and use up their time. Probably video games. But for those with learned knowledge, discovered knowledge, people with the inquiring mind who never finish their education after they leave school or college, and who are genuinely, like you and I, open-minded and open-eared to fresh perspectives, to provide a different view and context in what we think we already know. Freedom is a responsibility. Freedom is a challenge. It can be difficult, demanding. In fact, there can be some suffering comes from freedom. But the ultimate reward is to transmute from existence to real, tangible living. And this is engaging with life in an increasingly deeper, more meaningful level, which makes every day simply more than it possibly could been before. There we go, a bit of passing traffic. It's such a lovely day. The bikers are out doing the trails. I should be joining them, but my motorbike's not working at the moment. I've flooded the carbs again. Well, it's not me that's flooded it. It's a botched repairs flooded the carbs again. But if you're a biker, you know all about that. I'm going to conclude now with a summary of knowledge. We start off with life having very little knowledge. We learn from those around us. If we've got wise parents and guardians, we'll learn a lot more. We've got to be careful what we learn. We can learn an awful lot of bad habits from those around us, whether it be dogma, it can be indifference, it can be intolerance, it can be closed-mindedness. That's certainly the case. But if we have the courage for the journey, and life is a journey, then over time, as we grow up, we start to empower our very selves to take our own personal journey that nobody else can take. We can only take it for ourselves, because nobody knows ourselves better than us, apart from very, very observant people around us. And if we want to know more about ourselves, and in doing so know more about life, then that's us discovering freedom in its real context, knowledge in its real power, and engaging with the world in a very real and meaningful way. What a beautiful day, what a beautiful location. Do you know, often in films, critics will talk about beautiful photography on film sets, when in fact they just mean beautiful scenery, but they haven't made the connect. I'm Ralphie. I'm out on a lovely sunny day, exploring my constraints of freedom, sharing a little bit with you so that you can know a little bit more about fitter philosophy. See you soon.